Kevin Hansen is an FIA World Cup winner. Finally, that world title that you've been looking for a long
Big
time that you
time.
posted about. We were just in Qiddiya, Saudi Arabia. We concluded Extreme Age, the FIA Extreme Age World Cup. Kevin came out on top with Jamil Motorsport. Hansen Motorsport was also there. I was team principal, and we had a great event, but we ended fifth. We're gonna talk you through everything that happened there. But first of all, Kevin, how are you feeling now?
I feel excited not to be in the sand anymore. It was enough with the 2 weeks. Feels great. It feels like I don't know. Feels like you don't have to prove anyone anymore anything.
Yeah,
Title wise, I won. I mean, I won all the European young things, but a world title is a world title, and couldn't find any better, line up on the grid to beat. And I couldn't. I think, find myself in a position to have, like, I had to work so hard during the 2 weeks to stay on top of everything. And to get that result is just perfect. So yeah, it feels amazing.
yeah.
Really amazing.
You sound really tired now. Are
I'm
you?
exhausted.
Yeah.
About 5 minutes before recording, I was lying on the floor upstairs, like just dead. But it's like I don't know how you can. It's just undescribable in a way, because it was obviously 2 race weeks back to back, but it was 10 days of straight driving.
Yeah.
So
No
I
day
guess
off,
this is how you feel after the Dakar.
probably.
But 10 days of constant working, evolving, 40-degree heat. Probably drank 6 liters of water every day. Ate chicken and rice for 2 weeks. Just everything is just really, what you train for. But in the end of the day, it is tiring to stay focused for 10 days straight. That's why. But it's still, when I was out there, I slept 9 hours every night
Really.
to make sure I stayed on top of that. But no, it was a really, I think, the biggest challenge. Like a complete new team, and the pressure of racing for a Saudi team at home, knowing that I've driven the car before. Like, I knew I could win. I just needed to get everything in place to win, and to pull everything off. Unbelievable.
Mm.
It feels so great.
And it was a long week. It started like after Extreme E that you had testing and racing for. Immediately on the Monday, testing for Extreme Age began. We had very limited time on track with the cars, so there was no day off after that race, and you had to straight focus into Extreme Age. And we had a long week of scoring seeding points, but at the end it was only that one race, the World Cup final, that counted, and whoever would cross the line first in that race would be World Cup winner. So we had done so much work and been so focused, and you got pole position, which in the end you converted into taking the start, taking the lead,
Yeah,
and then checking out in the finals. I mean, it was that seeding section that you really laid the foundations to win. But still,
yeah,
when you're before the race and you think of all the scenarios with you, Andreas Backerud, and Johan Kristoffersson on the front row, with that 8-car field, there's 3 rows of cars, it's watered track, and extremely unpredictable, not just for the fans, but also for the drivers. Like, it's a very nerve-wracking moment to know that everything's on the line right now. But looking
yeah.
back, you just like did a really good start, held on to the inside, and did a super clean first corner to convert that pole position into the race lead.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, it sounds simple just to take the start and everything, but
Yeah.
it's choices of, from engineering side, setup and things like that to get a good launch. And you need to choose the right position. You need to perfectly place yourself on the grid. You need to react. You need to time the hyperdrive. There's so many things that could go wrong, but we pulled it up perfectly, and we were we were first into turn one. If I was half a corner behind Andreas into turn one, then it's completely different story, and things go maybe not end differently, but it's much harder to manage.
In in chess, I watch a lot of chess content, and then like the talking point is not only the move that they make, but also the moves that they were ready to handle. Like this thought
Yeah,
process of if the opponent moves here and here and here, and I think that's quite relevant in this case too,
for
because
sure.
it ended up going like in reality it ended up going really your way with you having the best launch, but in your head you have gone through every scenario of Andreas having a good start, Johan having a good
Yeah,
start, like and
what
everything
I
that could
need to
happen
do.
down there.
Yeah, exactly. And I had scenarios of if I exit second, if I exit third, what do I do? Um, where do I need to be close, and when do I overtake? Because it's about when you're, let's say I thought the most likely was obviously taking this off, but the second most likely was being, rounded. Let's say they got a really good start from, especially Johan, because I didn't think the P2 spot would be a danger launch wise because it was so soft and
Mm.
then so watered. I thought Johan, he gets such a good angle from out there. That could be the only threat. So if I'm behind him, I like had a plan of, okay, then I know where I need to overtake you,
Mm.
and I was like, and that's gonna happen. If I don't exit first, I am gonna overtake you to take that lead. And it was like you say, there so many scenarios, and again, it's a one race. It's not like the Olympics, because Olympics every fourth year, but
Mm.
it's the first time it ever came around, and the pressure of it was something, not experienced like that before. It was really cool because it's something now I ticked off. I've experienced, I've done, and now I can, if it gets the same or more, I know what to do. So another experience to add to the bag.
Yeah. But let's check back like onto the final little bit later in the episode. And first, like, we start at the beginning, and we start at where the the extreme age World Cup really began. And we'll talk through for the listeners all these different segments. It might have been a little bit confusing if you're not like super into the bubble like we are,
It's literally super confusing for me
or
even
us
being out there.
also.
Every day I was like, okay, so tomorrow's time trial. What does that mean? What's the? You literally told me on the episode, I think, or when we went off the last episode. Then it was the day before time trial, and I was like, so it's just like you get like 2 runs and it's the best time, and you're like, no, it's combined time.
Super confusing for us. And I was team principal and like taking on a new role for the team. So I was trying to read up on everything. Of course, I didn't have to spend so much time studying my driving as I do in a normal race weekend, but instead I was studying like regulations and trying to find holes and gaps in the regulations. I tried to work with the engineers to make sure we had the best car and also getting the drivers like super comfortable. But I had read up, and that's why I told you on that day that yeah, time trial day was the first day of proper racing and where we began to score those seeding points that eventually led to you getting pole position. But that was a very exciting day because you had, as I told you then, there was a morning run and an afternoon run. And in the end, they would combine every team's time onto a day, like a daily ranked leaderboard where the winner would get 10 points for the seedings. And
Yeah, and
you
then
and
10,
Johan,
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, and then
yeah,
it was 2 points extra for if you were fastest in the super sector, which was sector 3, basically from waypoint 10 to 19 or something.
yeah, and you and Johan had, I think it was in the afternoon session, you had a super exciting battle that came across really well on TV. You went out and you did a mega run, I think the fastest lap of that week.
Yeah,
And you like you could see, like, you know, when you see someone's in the zone and someone's got it and someone's just nailing it and nailing it, like you could see
yeah,
that when you drove. And then of course Johan Kristoffersson, most winning world rallycross driver of all time, coming later, is always among the favorites in any race that he enters. And he went out there, and you both drove second. So Molly and Michaela drove first for your respective teams. And then you came out and you could see the gap like shrinking, the gap that Johan had coming out of the pits. And that was super exciting to watch, I think. How was that lap
Yeah.
for you?
I mean, the morning session was again really good lap. Where we were very late in the running order, so the track was very rough, but it was very, very good. And that too, I think for half the lap, me and Johan, we were within 2 tenths. I was 2 tenths ahead, and maybe one behind, and two again in front, and one in front, and that lap was really good. And then the afternoon was obviously reverse results of the morning, and was we were seventh out, so penultimate, and then Johan was last with Michaela. And I had in my mind, yeah, we didn't have V-Box either, the video recording from the driving from the morning, so I had to just think myself, like, where do I think I can improve? Where was the feeling I could improve? And I literally just went out on that lap, and it was when I came, and that's why I was so excited after crossing the line, because it was literally so much. I took a lot of risk, but everything paid off. It was like the most perfect extreme E lap or extreme H lap I've done, and it was like
Was
just in the
the most
moment you
perfect
need it.
extreme age lap up until then? That was your second lap.
Yeah, exactly. Up until perfect. It's a little bit better than the morning, so best ever. But it was a great, great lap, and I think just hindsight from everything, being able to deliver a lap like it just shows that I was in a prime spot. Both myself, driving, car, everything was just in a prime spot on that day, and we just missed out by, I think, in total 7 tenths, but literally we found like we lost 7 tenths in the switch on both entering. Molly just got a little bit too slow in the entry, and I pressed the pit speed exit, we think, half a second or 8 tenths too late. So literally it was so close, with literally a press of the button or one breaking point difference in the end. And it was so tight during the run, but it was nice to put the lap together, and then for Johan to go for it and see how hard he was pushing. And
Yeah.
it was so exciting during that. I think he was 1.8 in front. Maybe no, it was 2.4 or something ahead, and I gained like 1.7 during my lap to him, and he still, obviously was still ahead.
They still
So
got it, and KMS then won the time trial. I just want to like mention also like how precise everything is during a time trial lap like that, because as you spoke about the pit exit, and it might not be so clear for people just listening, but if you play the Formula One video game, then when you go out of the pits, you keep full throttle, and at some point the car just goes, and that's the pit exit. But for us, we see these pit exit boards, and when you have to press the button yourself, moving 2 meters further and then pressing the button, will that mean that you accelerate later and you'll be slower all the way to the first corner? So that
yeah,
timing of when you exit the pit speed limiter is such a
crucial.
detail that people don't realize. But like the car is long, and how do you judge when the car is past that timing line? You don't
And
want to
it's
get a
not
penalty, of course.
and obviously it's not just, it's a GPS line. So you can't see a GPS line. You know the
Mm.
boards, but the GPS line might be two 2 meters after the board, or at the board, or a meter in front. Like we never know.
No.
It's just that someone has to try and go earlier and earlier and see if it works. But that was for sure something. I think that's where we lost that one, and I think you guys were very good
Yeah,
that
we
day
also had
on the
a
pit.
good day. We weren't up there like you and KMS had a super tight battle for P1, but we won the battle just behind with even. We finished 1 second in front of them to get P3 overall. I think on the day we were probably 4 seconds behind you, but we had a
I
big
think
story going on that day.
5 minutes.
Katie jumped too far in the morning session, landed flat from one of the jumps and actually had to, go to the medic straight out of the car. And she was then transported to hospital, which wasn't far away, to get an MRI on her back, just to be safe. Like, she was in pain, but then they did the MRI to check nothing is broken. And she came back to the track, and the doctor said she's not allowed to race. So me as the team then, or we as a team, we brought in Claire, the reserve driver, preparing her for the afternoon session, and like seeing Katie in the hospital. Like, it was a very weird middle of the day for us when Katie was away. But eventually she was in pain, but she really she went back to the doctor. She said, I want to race. I really want to race. And he said, I don't recommend it, and you'll be even more pain tomorrow. But okay, if you say you really want to, it's fine. But you could see on her vision that, like, in the paddock, she's not like super sharp. She's been through a lot, like a lot of shock and a lot of, into the hospital, the pain. And she was definitely not at her best during that day. Like, who would be coming thinking you've broken your back and jumping back in the race car? But she really
It's like,
overcame like everything that was going through her head, and had to fight with the doctors even to get her to allow her to race. And then going out and actually finishing P3 overall. I think that was super impressive. Like,
yeah,
showing how mentally tough she is, and what kind of battles you have to fight in your mind to go out there and get on the track.
it's it's like I told you when you had a bad landing once, you will know if you broke your back. It's like if you're considering and you have a bit of pain, to after, then it's
Yeah, it's not
that's
broken.
just that's a
Yeah.
bad jump. Sure, you can have some compression, it's stressful, but when you break your back, then poof.
The scary thing is, and I have had a very similar landing to the one she had there. The scariest thing is the noise. You're in a very loud sounding race car in the middle of the lap, but both the landing that I had in testing before Las Vegas, was it last year, and now the one that Katie had, hearing the noise of your back cracking through all of this noise that is anyway going on inside a race car, even though it's pretty loud inside. Like, then then the first thing goes through your mind, like, oh, that's bad. And then you feel the pain, and then you start to think, like, is it broken? But obviously you have been through breaking your back, so you know.
I think it's just to wrap up quickly on the backside. It's so key to have core strength in off-road motorsport just because of that reason. And also, I think in general, you can never really. They told me that when you sit in a race car like that, when you have as the compression is straight down, normally that is very very minimal risk of actually being able to damage a vertebra.
Yeah.
Vertebrae or whatever. It's more twist and stuff. And like for me, when my hip actually moved out of position and it pinched it, and it was like someone snapped a stick,
Oh.
like, and so loud again, so you just heard a full crack. So yeah,
Oh.
it's key to be very very strong.
Yeah.
For that reason, it doesn't matter about really performance because she, we all go the same amount of speed over there. And we take some risk. And Timo had a massive one I saw also, but it's like it's just for safety. That's why you need to work out. But it was was it not Saturday? It was the Thursday. Good start to the week. You were
So
third.
at
We
this
were
point,
second, and then it was time for head to head.
exactly. So at this point, we've scored the first few of our seeding points, and we move into that head-to-head section, which is a completely new race format. We would start side by side, we'll go down in a straight line, thread the needle through 2 chevrons, jump a big jump, and then finish. And very different from anything we usually do.
Yeah.
But still, there are 10 seeding points up for grabs.
Yeah.
It was still a very important day, even though it was super weird to kind of settle into a new race format. That's what we all
Yeah.
had to do. And yeah, I don't think we need to spend too long talking about that because we literally drove in a straight line for 20 seconds. But
Yeah, you launched, jumped a bit, braked, don't touch the chevron, jump, done.
that's it.
And it was, but I knew before going in, like I knew I was on the practice, I was second quickest, so I just knew, okay, it's impossible to find references for braking. I just need to brake where I believe, and the straight after was quite long, so I just made sure I got on power well, and then that was it. And I just made sure I tried to stay away from the chevrons because I thought there would be people hitting those chevrons, and then
Oh
you'll
yeah,
get
there
2
were.
points, and that's way worse.
Yeah, there
So
were
I
so
just made
many chevrons
sure,
gone.
and that's why you saw like KMS was at the back because they had 2 runs where they hit the chevrons, I believe,
No,
or
this
even
is this. I think
3.
this is the big story of that day. Like two big stories. Stard ended up winning against you in the final, but KMS came last in this section, and that's because Johan had a clean first run, but then Michaela went off in both her runs, and then Johan hit the chevron in the third. So out of the 4 runs, they had 1 clean one.
Yeah, and that's just not what you. That's just, even if it's they, they didn't like the chevrons being put there because in the beginning we just jumped straight with no chevrons, but it was, then they jumped. I think they were quite okay, and then they put chevrons and didn't like it. And I think that I told Molly, she was like, "It's a bit weird." I was like, "It doesn't matter. You have to race on it. You have to like the racetrack. If you don't like the racetrack, you will go in there and be like negative to everything, and you don't want to do well." So I was like the racetrack, go out there and drive. And I think maybe that was, I wouldn't be surprised if it was quite a lot of negativity in the, because even when I met people from the team going to like the bathroom, they're like, it's silly, stupid little, chicane. It's just ridiculous. What are we doing even?
Yeah. But I think
But
the
in the end,
race
it's a
format
race, and
was
it's the same as on the main track the day before.
yeah.
And I really enjoyed. I watched it back last night when I go home, or just in the evening, the whole that day, and it was really exciting. I think it can be leveled up, maybe a few more,
Obstacles.
things.
Yeah.
In the end, it was quite unfair, the lines, because the left side jumped a lot more, and we lost a bit of time on that. I think it was like 2.5 tenths or something. We calculated, and we lost the final by half a tenth because we
Mm.
were on the left line. So yeah,
Yeah. Well, I think that as a concept, it was an interesting section to have. And this isn't the main part of the Extreme Age World Cup. It's just one of the seeding areas. So I think it's worth keeping it as part of that build up.
for sure.
But maybe improving the track a bit, maybe removing the chevrons so that you don't get penalties in your run. Like maybe adding a little bit more race
Proper, proper
longer
like
than 20
cornering,
seconds. Yeah.
like proper cornering, like 2 long corners or something, or 2 90-degree corners, so you can take some different approaches.
Maybe 2
Um,
jumps, no, adding a bit more.
yeah,
But I think
yeah,
it was quite exciting to watch, and then you see so clearly, all those close finishes.
yeah. I
Anyway,
agree.
moving
It
out of
was,
the head-to-head section,
and
you are now. Sorry.
we literally we won our 4 heats, but by winning our 4th heat, we bumped Team Hansen
Yeah,
out of the semifinals. It was so weird to be like, I was excited because we won 4 because we were standing next to you, but I was also like, it's a bit weird that I celebrate when you got bumped out. But I was just happy we won 4 because it's like great,
yeah, and
but it was
you were
strange.
already guaranteed a spot in the finals, and we were like right on the edge. If we win that one, we're in. We knew that. And we didn't expect Andreas to lose against Molle. We think it's just like go out, have a clean run. But he lost by 600th of a second.
Yeah,
Molle had a good
especially
run.
because
He had a bad run. And
he was in the right lane, which is, at least almost 3 tenths faster. So I was also surprised.
yeah,
I was surprised about that one because it was like, it will be, normally we might lose by, because Molly was really competitive that day, like or all the week she was, but still she really pulled one out of the back in that one. I think he must have braked on the jump or something.
Yeah.
because he was
I mean,
ahead after the chevron.
we never went flat on the jump. We never just did a lift. We spoke about it in the entire practice and in the entire race that I said, I think it's flat. But obviously I hadn't been in the race car, so I don't know.
No,
But we always did a
easy to
brake
say that.
tab. And I think that was why we
That's
lost.
why I was never flat until the first heat on the race day. Then I said to Molly, I am not lifting.
Yeah.
It's gonna be flat because everyone's gonna start to go flat. So you just have to do it. So
Yeah.
the first jump I did on the race was literally flat.
That's good. Yeah. It's nice to hear that now. We didn't talk about this before, but I said it must
No.
have been flat. It must be flat, the jump. I said it the whole day
Yeah.
there. Well,
I
anyway,
was
coming
yeah.
out of that,
I was flat on all the jumps on the racetrack also.
no way.
Yeah.
That we were not. We break
I
for
know.
everyone. Anyway, so moving out of the head-to-head section, Jamil Motorsport with you and Molly now have a comfortable gap because you were
It was 6
P2,
points.
P2 in the time trials and P2 again in the head-to-head. Start
Yeah,
ended
which
up
was
winning.
also annoying. So like we were so quick. I was super quick on the time trial. I won all my heats on the second night. And it's just, unlucky that we had bad pit stops and Molly was on the wrong lane and obviously Amanda put in a great run in the final. It's just like double P2 was so annoying, but I could feel somewhere it was fueling us for the last day.
And you can only do like so much. Some things, for every race driver is a
Exactly.
bit of luck, and luck or bad luck. But at least you put yourself up there twice, 2 days in a row. You're now leading by far. KMS had that disaster day and coming last. So winning one, coming last one. Stard came last in the time trials, but won the head-to-head. So it's really bunched up the midfield. We as Team Hansen, we came out being in second place in the seeding points, but with 3 points only to the last place. We had like 14 and last place had 11. So coming into
we had 20.
Yeah, so coming into multi-car racing in the final day, we're going to do 2 qualifying races where you can score again 10 and then 10. So it was
huge day.
a huge day. And everybody, like you had a bit of a safety gap. Everyone else is basically level. So we knew coming into that last day that this is the day. And at the end of in the afternoon will be the World Cup final. So literally, this is the day. Everything can happen.
And we had and to throw it in here, like we spoke on the last podcast, grid play came back, and it was really important to get a good grid because then you chose first for the heat, so your position choice was first, and then then it was like extremely, then it was opposite the second race, so you chose last, but still you got a one race where you could choose your luck a little bit, and we got with some fantastic support, and literally in the past it's been people buying votes and stuff in this, but literally we realized on the during the head-to-head day that it was literally just people vote. Nobody was buying anything, so we all the team, me, um, Mariella and all her everyone, we just were on it to ask people to vote, please vote, and that's how we won, like from
Like it should
honest
be.
hustle.
No way.
Of asking people, please, can you vote for us? Because it's actually making a difference. We were dead last after like 10 hours on the vote. And then people just like actually made the difference. And we got that. And that's another thing. Like we just worked super hard on that. As like the whole team, was all their friends group. I did and family did and everyone. And that was literally why we also got, a great choice for the race in the heats, and I chose the inside because the grid was like reset from the extreme E weekend where the outside was the quickest. And
how did that
was
race
able,
go from pole position?
it was going quite well. I was first into turn one, just like the final. But I was first into turn one, and then I was too cautious, and Johan sent it on the outside, but he lost his car, hit my front.
Lost his car. That can be like out of context. He's like, "Where's my car?"
Yeah, shit.
No,
Where is it?
like a glitch in the video game. He lost his car.
Well,
Disconnected.
no, so he had a massive oversteer then.
Okay.
Too much to save. He didn't lose it. Or did he? Anyway. and then he hit my front. I then took a waypoint, and then he actually passed me after, but he got a slow puncture from that. So I then had to overtake him in the quickest. Also, it was water, so I couldn't see anything for that first lap following him. And I had Patrick just on my bumper because he was obviously going a bit slow in the front. And then I finally got the moment where I could pass him, and I went around the outside, stayed flat out of waypoint 1, not seeing where he was, and just committed to going around him. And I got it there, and then I just pushed like crazy to try and extend the lead. And we came in first to the switch. We handed over in the lead. Molly did a good run, and then obviously we got a 10-second penalty for it. And I went into the steward's room, and I was like, "Well, how do I get a penalty? Because I didn't hit it on my own." And they were like, "Well, you hit the chevron, so it's a penalty." I was like, "But it's not, because I didn't make me hit the chevron. Because someone else lost the
You
car."
got pushed into
And
it.
then they refused to watch the video, and I was like, "Can we just please watch the video?" And I had to say, "Look there, he's losing his car. You can see he's pointing towards me, like the camera was 90 degrees from the inside, and it hits me, and I hit the chevron, like just after." And then they actually changed their mind. So thanks to actually, because they just gave me a penalty, they wasn't gonna ask me for my view or anything.
Mm.
They and I just had to go. I went in there straight after, and it's like, "Can I please just discuss?" And they actually was like, "Oh, we did a mistake here." So again, another point where I had to go into the steward's room during the week, even to fight to try and get the right outcome that was fair. But we got that win. That was really important, and that was the
Yeah.
first qualifying race, and then you guys were in the second.
Yeah, we were in the second. I don't remember this, but this was my first time like spotting in an actual race. I was really nervous. I had like 126 heartbeat, my watch said. It was
Really,
like the same as I have when I race. It was that was pretty
it's
fun. We had
nerve-wracking.
the
It's
worst.
worse standing on the side.
Yeah, we had the worst starting position, and
You did a
Andreas
bad
was
start,
doing the
no?
start. I mean, we had actually like if you look at it like a normal grid, we had P2, so second closest to the inside. But
Yeah,
it was just that the other 3 slots was chosen before. I think we got a bit lucky there because I
yeah.
don't think it was the worst one.
No, number 3 was the
Yeah,
worst one. Or yeah,
but the one who had the
box
pick
2.
before us chose, yeah, the one outside of us in the middle.
Yeah,
I think when they chose that, that was like, oh, great, thank you. That was a
yeah.
good gift. What happened in that race? I
I
don't.
think you go. I think you did have a very bad run that one, but
Yeah,
I
we
think you were
came
like
third,
third,
but
but then everybody got penalties, no?
yeah, we came third, but the one in front had a penalty. We just had to close the gap in the end.
So you got second.
Yeah. We run. I think Katie came out like 4.5 seconds behind. She closed the gap
Yeah,
to 1 second within half a lap, so like super easy closing the gap. But she couldn't really get closer because of the mud and that stuff. So we kind of was stuck behind for the rest of the race, and just got promoted to P2 after that penalty. And I told her that too. And like, you don't need to risk it now. They have taken a chevron. And oh yeah, it was actually Katie. It was not on TV, but Katie shouted on the radio suddenly that they took a chevron. For me
Christ.
to the race control, like, I got a report. They took a chevron. Um, and then I told her to be safe. Just if chevron was 5 second penalty, just stay within 5 seconds. No
Yeah,
risk to the end. And she did that. And we had
I think you got the super sector that run, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, so we did go
Did
fast.
you?
Yeah, we did get the super sector, so we got those 2 bonus points.
Yes, you did. Yeah, that's why. So you were still 6 points behind. That's why we in the last race, you were the only one that could challenge us, and uh, That's why we had to finish third. Then we were safe.
Yeah,
But if
the
we
worst
finished
case
fourth, then
third.
you would have won the intermediate.
And I can, looking at the outside from that last race, when Andreas has the inside pole position, you had the
Yeah, because
worst
you were
lane.
last choice, then you got first choice.
Yeah, exactly. So you had the worst lane, but a
Yeah,
better start. And me looking at it from the outside, I could see you really not wanting to risk anything. You almost had him. It was like you were
yeah,
with the rear wheel to his front wheel. In a
yeah.
final there, this first
Yeah,
corner goes
he would have
completely
been
different.
finished
Yeah,
in that
so,
first turn if
but
it was that scenario, you know?
yeah, but now you left him space. You didn't like try and take on the battle. so you got a bit stuck around the outside. Then I think you were
We
you
were
were
third.
third, and you
And
finished
then,
third, right? But
yeah, because
enough.
we had our this is nobody really knows, but during that race, we had something destroy our water wash, so we had no wash during the whole race,
Oh.
and literally I couldn't the second lap, I couldn't see. On the jumps on after turn one, I was like, it was like small gaps that I sometimes saw, like, oh, Timo's light in front, and then I saw like, okay, there's a not shower, like a waypoint flag, and I came over the jump, first one, couldn't see, went straight, stayed flat, jumped, and then that one has like front rotation,
Mm.
the second jump, and then I saw the waypoint flag. I was like, okay, now I
No
know where the
way.
track is. Full sand into there, Patrick on my bumper, because I was like, I can't lose a place. So the amount of risk was way more than I took any other point during that weekend to
That's crazy
maintain.
because it doesn't look like that from the outside. Like, it looks like you're
No,
kind of cruising in P3, not
yeah, I
taking
know.
risk, but in reality,
Like
that was your riskiest
taking
race.
risk is like I saw nothing
No,
the whole lap, and
I don't
like
think
because I
people
had
can relate. Like, if you're on the road and like it's foggy, you think that you see bad, but
no, that's good
comparing, like,
vision.
it's perfect. Like, we would not
That's not the
complain one
problem.
second of not seeing if it's
I would
just fog.
say the closest experience you can have to it is if there's sometimes there's this, you say, monsoon rains, like the sky
Mm,
just opens and there's so much water that the windscreen wipers can't even
mm.
work, like that, but with the wiper off,
Yeah.
and you go at 100 kilometers an hour. That's how it feels
And
racing in mud.
you pass in between, you're coming faster than two trucks, passing them in the middle lane with zero visibility. Maybe you can spot them being dark on each side, but you have to stick in your lane and just pass them in
Yeah,
the middle. That
so
is
that
probably
was
the
for
closest
sure.
explanation. But then also
Yeah,
add jumps and turns to this,
yeah, and other people.
and other people. Like, I don't think people can relate. When we say
No,
we don't see, we really,
we
we do not see.
no.
And of
It's a,
course
it's
we
a
do have to
literally
get hints.
that's why we say we don't see, because
Yeah.
we do not see. It's not like,
We do
oh,
not.
I see a little bit, but I don't see.
Well, we,
No, I
of
don't see.
course, we get like references sometimes. So you get a glimpse of the waypoint flag or the glimpse of the light in front. Because the tricky thing is when you are zero visibility, you're fine for maybe 1-2 seconds because you can still just go off of your rhythm. But the longer the time goes, the more kind of you
Yeah,
drift off of where you. So, but
yeah,
as long as you get those little hints of like a little scratch in your windscreen where you could see the wiper, or in the air when you said when the car is rotated forwards, then when you get those hints, you can keep going. It's crazy
yeah.
that you kept it in P3.
I know, and nobody know from the weekend, and I still had, I still, on the lap I didn't see. I only lost to Andreas. I think I stayed. What was like 2 seconds, or I was equal. Can't remember which one,
Mm.
but I was like, it wasn't more than 2 seconds lost that lap, and he was clean windscreen. Then you can
Fully clean.
imagine the risk I
Yeah,
took, because I literally 50% off the lap was like, okay, now it's blind. And then the windscreen just cleared the stream. And I was like, I think I see. And I went on the rhythm with the little reference I had. And that was the amount of push I had to take. And also
yeah,
like, that's how good I had also tried to, I felt the track. I was like, exactly know where to be as with the little I saw.
yeah.
And then handed over to Molly. She got water finally on the screen, and she could see during her run, and she maintained that third place. But
Which
that
meant
was
that
a nuts race.
that means that you were guaranteed P1 in the standings, in the seedings. We had
Yeah,
the opposite race. We had a completely clean windscreen the whole race.
yeah.
Andreas got out in the lead. He built a 5 second gap, and then Katie took over. I told her no risk, but she extended to 10 seconds, I think, by the finish line. I told her to push for the super sector, and
You got it for a while.
we had it, but it was it was
Was so
so
much
much
water.
drier. I think Andreas and
Yeah.
Johan was not too far off. Johan ended up
Mm,
winning the other race in Q2. They
no,
had,
it was
but that was
1.2 seconds difference between their sectors or something. Johan did a 44.0, Andreas did like a 45.2. Maybe he did a 44.7. anyway,
I think
it was like
Andreas also had a 44 and Johan had a 44. That's all I could
then it
remember. I
was
didn't remember the
44.
10th, but it
Then
was
it was
so much drier.
44-7.
It was so much drier in the second race. So, but the one who got the big gap was Michaela. She went purple out of everyone in Uber sector. So even she went faster than Johan did. So now we have done the seeding part of the World Cup, and now it's just the race left. So the standings that we have right now is Jamil, as we said, Kevin and Molly in P1. We secured P2 with that win in the second race, but you remember we said it was so close in the midfield? So KMS jumped from last to third because they won the race plus the 2 points.
Yeah.
So they made a massive jump up. So now we have that front row, the one that everyone was looking at.
Yeah.
Ahead of that 8-car Extreme Age World Cup, everyone knew it would be carnage starting in rows 2 or 3 because of the watering that they were going to do and the mud that you would get on the screen. It's hard enough to see when you're like in a rhythm, but not seeing into turn 1, that's a whole different thing. And you, us, and KMS on the front row, and the title is on the line. And now we come back to where we started the episode.
This was, I have to toss in the catering situation here with the chicken and rice, but it was the...
toss in a bit of chicken and rice.
Yeah, now I have to toss in a bit of chicken and rice here.
I just built up the whole atmosphere.
Yeah, but now we need to toss in a bit of chicken and rice here, because the big topic, it's always easy to eat chicken and rice. And then, of course, the only lunch where I was like a little bit nervous, and like for the first time in years, I was like, I don't really have an appetite to eat, which I always do on race day. That was how much pressure I experienced. Then they served fucking mashed potato and lamb. It's like, what's going on? Can I just have some chicken and rice?
You just wanted to have your 25th chicken and rice for the week.
Literally. Or maybe 28.
Yeah.
It was like, come on. And that lunch was, both me and Wally, we sat in silence pretty much. I ate this lamb and mash, and
I'm going to tell you about the food situation I had too, but we have to finish up on the final.
Finish the food now.
Okay.
Finish the food first.
So after the World Cup final, in the last day, like don't forget, like I still have built up this turn 1 scenario for the World Cup final.
Please remember.
Please remember. But now I'm just going to talk about KFC.
Everything's on the line.
I'm just going to talk about KFC. This is not sponsored, by the way.
But please, if you're out there.
So I'm like super hungry after the World Cup, and like we've been there, and we knew there's a KFC. So me, mom, and dad, and Katie and her parents, we went to that KFC, and we were gonna have dinner. Never really eaten there before.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, sorry.
I saw everyone left, walking away, and I was like, bye then. Didn't say bye, and then you just went off, and then you ate somewhere. I was like,
we ended up having to rush because Katie already left, and we were like, hurry up, let's catch. Yeah. So I thought I ordered 12 chicken nuggets in a bucket.
Yeah.
But if you've ever been to KFC, which I hadn't, then you will know that the 12-piece chicken bucket is a whole family meal for 4 people. So,
really?
So then the first signal I got that this might be a big meal was when they told me that they didn't have the family-sized drink. I was like, it's fine. You can just give me a regular drink. So, okay, sorry, you get a small one. But it was massive, still my cup. Really? I was like, oh my God, they think this is small. What am I going to get? So I got a whole tray of chips, and the bucket felt like, 5-7 liter bucket full of chicken.
I thought I ordered 12, like a garden bucket.
Yeah. Like I thought I ordered 12 chicken nuggets. No, it was like 12 massive pieces of chicken. And I ordered the side dish that was bigger than an actual dish. And I got 4 pieces of bread with it. I just had a mountain of food in front of me.
Brilliant. It's quite exciting though to eat something deep fried after a week of, you only there week after week of eating chicken and rice.
So what? I chickened out, chicken. But I chickened out, and I had two of the 12 pieces I was able to finish.
Really?
Yeah,
What did you do with the rest? You threw away then?
yeah. It's like, yeah.
Did you order so much food on the company card and then you threw away everything?
I shared a little bit, but there was absolutely no way that we could have shared this on the six of us on the table,
What
and
a
they
waste.
each had a regular meal to finish first, so they had a piece. Whatever. That's it about food. That's it about food. Now, back into the pressure situation. Back into Kevin on pole
Yeah,
position for the World Cup final. Back to everything is on the line. Back to Kevin being never felt this much pressure in his life. And now
yeah.
green light goes off. What do you do?
Well, first we had to choose this grid position, and then they roll the whole start. And for the first, like for the inside, then was still soft from the start. But I thought, okay, there will be they will move the grid a bit to the right, the front row, because you need to fit 6 cars wide and not 4 cars wide, because only the second row has a clear gap
Mm.
ahead in the start. So I was like, okay, they're gonna start more to the right, and it was like on the limit, but the far right was completely fresh, and no one had started on it. So I was like, I spoke to Fras because obviously we QB
Mm.
team we shared some assistance and engineering, and he was like, I think the inside, and I was like, that's where my gut too was, because we went at different times. So he said, I'm gonna go the inside. At least if I'm on the inside, I have the inside. If I do a good start, I'm on the inside. If I do a good start from the outside, but it's not good enough, then you're then you're screwed.
Mm.
So because the outside looked really, really, really good, the piece, the P3, if you say, the grip. So this was the first nerve-wracking moment. And the problem was that between the Q or Heat 2 and the final was 4.5 hours of
Mm.
build up to a world final where you can win a world title. And we've been quickest for, super quick in Extreme E, quickest through the Extreme H parts, was top scoring, like everything that's racing for a Saudi team. And all they wanted during Extreme E was a Saudi national anthem on the podium. All they wanted again was the Saudi national anthem on the podium. I really wanted a world title. Molly obviously really wanted a world title, but at least that was that was the second problem, because at least I had to get to the switch zone for her to be able to, you know, even get to first of all contribute to if I didn't hand over first to fix it, or then to bring it home. So the pressure I just felt huge. I never experienced that amount before. I think it was more than Cape Town in 19.
I had that
Because
pressure in Cape Town 19.
but it was here I had all the tools that I've experienced and worked with to try and manage it, but still I sat and meditated with, like, again, 120 in heartbeat.
Mm.
Couldn't it just didn't go down. It was like a constant stress, and obviously the thoughts about everything keep going in and out. But I did manage. I think I managed great with whatever it was, and I just stayed focused. I thought what I was, kept my focus on trying to drive and not what the achievement was gonna be. And it was so nice when we finally got to get in the car and leave the box and just drive up to the start, because then also all of a sudden they had water the complete start line, and it was, ruts everywhere from the tractors. It was completely different. So you had to act very quickly to find a good place. And I had, again, thanks that I chose the inside, it was still perfectly smooth and stiff, even with the watering. So again, like, perfect um, choice. And then it was World Cup final time, and it was the longest 3 minutes notice I think I've experienced a green light. But it was so nice when they finally 15 seconds came on. Um, I always sit there and count a couple of seconds so I don't have to focus too long. And went green, and then I knew as soon as it goes green, it's all automatic. You don't think anymore; you just do. And go through turn one, and I felt, okay, I got on the radio, one inside. I was like, shit, there might be one. I saw Fras was in the corner, and I was like, but he looks static. So I'm just going to cover a little bit just to be sure. So I kept like mid track. And then when I got through to waypoint 7, basically turn 2, and I knew now it's push time. And I went really went for it. There was a few moments on my 2 laps because it was fully watered in some place, or aquaplane, and almost spun full lock, full throttle 3 times on my 2 laps. So I didn't really put enough because obviously Timo could see in front that I had those moments and could be a bit more cautious. But in the end, I got 6-second gap, and it was such a relief to get into the switch zone and hand over. And just, I've done my part. Now it's up to Molly and Universe.
Yeah. Our race ended so quickly. After all of that build up through the seeding process, we got P2, and we chose, like you went through all of that, which you wanted to choose, and we kind of said we want P2 in the middle. We didn't have the great starts up until then. I think we nailed them for the final. Not quite as good as you, but our grip was not as good on the start line. But we were a bit afraid to have a bad start on the outside with then 8 cars diving on the inside into turn 1. So we knew we wanted to be as much inside as we could. But P2, I think we had quite a good run, and Johan and Andreas like have a touch down the straightaway, so they actually lose ground to. I think you're fully clear when you turn into turn 1. But Andreas then did a great outside move. He brought a lot of speed into the corner. And then on the radio, I just told him, stay outside, stay outside, stay outside, stay outside through that turn 1, so that he would just keep the momentum. So, and then finally getting out onto the straight, you had the lead, and Andreas, from carrying the momentum outside, was enough to have P2, and with a 1-car gap in the beginning of the straight. But I could see the Zeroid car with Frass coming with high speed on the right side of the track. So I told him, move right, move right. But he didn't want to move right because he didn't want to cross your spray and get a dirty windscreen before that double jump and fast right. So he chose to stay left, and then unfortunately they still caught the gap. It was then I stopped saying move right halfway down the straight because now it's too late. And coming over that second jump, there was 2 cars diving on the inside into that super fast right. It was not a bad move from them. They just took a gap, and I think there was a bit of a gap there. If he had moved right earlier, I think he would have been able to defend. But being all the way out on the left, the gap was just so big on the inside. So
and it looked like he just checked up way too much, also into the right, and like it looked like he braked like quite a bit before. It was quite cautious.
Yeah.
And in the World Cup final, I guess people just
you can be cautious on the inside, but you cannot be cautious on the outside. Then you have to full send. And he didn't full send, and he didn't get to the inside. So get a tap, and then we went off. Then after that, our World Cup final is over.
After watching it back, I feel gutted that the Hansen team gets bumped off P2. I'm leading. It was perfect. Like the team is second, I'm leading, and it's like in general, if you think like proper family, then it's ultimate. Like Kevin wins, the team is second. Like for me, for everyone in the family, it's like the perfect.
Yeah.
It's and then just.
But I think we were in that
small
position.
Mistake.
I think you were the best through this week, and we were the second best. KMS were too inconsistent, and then all of the rest didn't have enough pace.
No.
And we didn't put a foot wrong all week, except for that he didn't move right on that straight. And that's how little little is in between winning and losing. It's quite easy to talk about how you won and how you did everything right. But then there are also little things that makes things go wrong. So we had that whole week of build up, and that one corner and ended it all. We were dead last with a big gap, and we just picked up.
It's massive off.
Yeah, it was a massive, and you don't see on the TV, but the rocks out there and the ditches and stuff, it's huge, taller than the car.
I actually was during my going through every scenario. Also, the exactly what happened to Andreas came through my mind. If I had to, let's say, back off for mud and someone would pass me there very late, or if I would over push and it's super watered, I would fly off to the left. Like my mind had thought about those two, let's say situation. If I what happens, situation that can create you to crash in that moment.
Mm.
Uh, and I was like, I do not want to experience that because it looks awful out there.
Yeah. That
And
was
then he
that was in
literally experienced
Andreas's
it.
head too. He was kind of afraid of that corner and was worried about that corner. And I think looking back at everything, he was probably cautious into there because he was a bit afraid of it. Like he was not comfortable with that turn two, and by kind of the randomness of turn one, he ends up in the worst possible position. And he judged that with the one car gap that he had, that I told him in the beginning of the straight, he judged that it was enough to be able to stay left and keep his position. But unfortunately, they closed in. I think he must have had a bad exit or
Also,
bad traction out there.
I think did you brake on the second jump?
Yeah,
You guys. Timo didn't.
no.
I got it from him on one of the runs that he stayed flat because I was chasing. I think it was must have been heat. It must have been heat two, where I was like, shit. Now I need to stay with them, and I didn't see them break, so I just kept
Mm.
flat, and it was fine. So I
And
think
so that
that's where he
lost
lost
it.
it.
Because I was kind of surprised from the command center spotting how quickly he could just suddenly dive into that gap. Even though, and Andreas kept telling me that he had just lined up a nice corner, but somehow from the outside it looks a little bit passive and it looks like they're able to dive. Maybe
Yeah,
it's on that second jump that he wasn't flat. That's where the gap was open, really. A bit on the line on the straight, keeping left, but also then, as we said, you have to full if you want to stay outside in the first
yeah,
corner with so many cars behind, you have to full send.
yeah.
And it wasn't. It should have been full throttle to make that full send. It was not.
Oh,
It's small
but
details. Small details.
yeah, in the end of the day, I think it was you know Andreas in the team hands, and I think it brought everything everyone wished from the both sides: competitiveness and of a era of dislikement and anger and
Mm.
fighting between almost fans and sides and stuff. I think it's brought everyone together. I think he did a great job. I really am so thankful that he embraced it with such energy. He brought such great energy to the team. I heard he was very very open. It was never a problem for me, let's say, to walk in. Um, I think it obviously took a few days, but the 2 weeks really developed, and I would say. Um, like I said to him around the campfire, the next one we need to do, or he said, this is obviously different. It's just me racing with Katie for a Hansen team. If it was teammates with Kevin and Timmy, it's different.
Mm.
I said maybe that's the next step, and I think that would be some fun next step. I think in a
Yeah.
way.
But we got along super well this week. Like we were rivals and we did make a lot of jokes coming into this and announcing it and everything. But I think we have a huge amount of respect for each other, me and Andreas. And he's a great race car driver. And working with someone on his level is really rewarding. Like because I can say really, it's the same with Katie, but I can say really complicated stuff in short form that no one else except top level driver would understand. Like you would understand. There's only
Mhm.
very few people who kind of really get what you mean. I was like, why didn't you just like attack like this? And then in your head, you see what I mean and what the outcome will be, and you
Yeah,
connect all the dots. That was how it was to race with Andreas. And when we made the plans for turn one in the final, we were exactly on the same page. And of course, he was also very nervous, but it was fantastic to work with him, and
mm,
it was nice to end that era of being rivals with a race like that. I think we almost didn't put the foot wrong, and if there was any mistake into that turn two, it was so minor and so fine. Maybe that slight brake tap for the jump, but I don't think that we have made a single mistake the whole week, and they have both driven super fast.
yeah.
As a team principal, like overwatching everyone, they did such a good job.
I think it's just exciting to see the Hansen team. When let's say technology and money to spend on getting more performance, more testing, whatever. It's just this is what you have. Then again, we are world class on delivering a team to do great. I think our team did best socials. We did best. We had the best engineering team there. If you look at the scale of engineers, like there was several. I think we had 3, 4
I
or
think we had the
something at
best
the
car
maximum.
also. I was looking at
Well,
everyone. I think our car was best.
I'm quite sure our car was best. So
Yeah, but I mean, you drove your car, we drove our car,
yeah,
so it's
I
allowed to
think
have different opinions on that.
yeah, and in the end of the day, I won. So
Yeah. And you were super fast. Like
yeah,
that's also
yeah,
cool too. When I was not racing now, usually when someone else goes fast, you just get pissed off and like you want to be that fast and
yeah,
faster. But now I was just watching and I could watch you kill it and be super quick, and that's like it was really cool. Just like
yeah,
nice, bro.
yeah. Thanks. It was nice. It was perfect. And I think I didn't. Let's say if the Hansen team were perfectly kitted out, I think what the QV people told, there was such a last minute thing. There was so many people not available. Let's say that was first pick, and it really was a work together for our team to try and learn and find. Like it was like everyone had to contribute 100% all the time to find things, and like things just like we the memory stick in the V box was full one day because we forgot to
Mm.
turn it off. Like things like that. It's like things that just people were new to it and we had to develop and we had to find, but in the end we kept working, and in the end of the day, like we did so many mistakes during the week, so it could have been so much smoother sailing, but we we just kept saying that's fine, let's keep learning, let's keep working, let's just keep developing, and that just makes it also feel like it was such a headwind the whole 2 weeks. And I think everyone felt it in many ways. Like we had a roll, we missed a slow zone in Extreme E, and then really after that, everything started to go in the better direction. Everyone started to settle in. Everyone started to find the ways, the things that we need to change, comfortable with the work. Me and the engineer made the right decision forward on the setup, and everyone can just really take it, massive pride in the amount of work we did to overturn where we started the 2 weeks
Mm.
with literally like we need to take the setup of the QV car because we don't really we don't know what we're doing, and then to go to having a really competitive package in the final, not doing a single mistake. There was risk of slow zones and stuff. Again, there was a slow zone, and again the main engineer and everyone there, we just knew what we were doing, and we learned from what we did mistakes in the past, and we you know we delivered a no mistakes final perfection. So it was cool.
Yeah, cool. It was a
And
good,
that's
exciting 2 weeks, big adventure in the desert, exhausting for everyone involved:
yeah,
mechanics, media team,
I'm
engineers,
done.
drivers, organizers. Very exhausting, super hot.
Yeah.
But now it's done. I think it was a massive success altogether.
Mm.
Um, just I want to go back, do another one, keep going. But then we're a little bit back to the uncertainty of that sport. It's not announced when the next race is, so we'll have to keep you posted on that.
Yeah.
But it was so much fun to be there. It was a great, exciting World Cup race to watch. It delivered all the drama that people were
Yeah.
expecting with 8 cars on that start line. Maybe
And
the
the
one
next
thing
world.
was missing was a better battle for P1 because you checked out a bit. But how often do you
Yeah.
get a great battle for the lead? It's not. Is it 1 in
Yeah.
10 races max? So
Maybe. Yeah.
if you would
I
have
mean, yeah,
gotten
for
out
sure.
behind Andreas or behind anyone, then that would have been
Then
delivered.
it would have been carnage because it was no way I was gonna let anyone go
No,
in that final.
but it was very
Uh,
well deserved for you and Jamil Motorsport to win. I think you were the favorite across the week. So I think no one doubted, or no one says that you shouldn't have won. It was very well deserved.
yeah, which makes it feel even better because it was just a lucky one time off. It was like was well deserved, if I can say myself.
Yeah.
What you just said also. That makes it feel even happy when people say that it was, you really did deserve this one. And after the years of hard work and losing 19 and working so many years and going through a crash and changing team, moving country, or not moving, but spending a lot more time away from Sweden, um, everything, so many changes to contribute to try and be the best race driver possible in the world and finally get some actual result, not just the World Rallycross race win, a world title for it. But
Yeah. The trophy is up there
finally,
behind you. Very
yeah, and
well
the flag
lined
I
up.
brought home. I think I just put it up now, but when I go home, I'm sure this is gonna get taken down when Mass gets home. She'll be like,
Okay.
that doesn't look good enough.
Yeah.
And also, I just saw on socials, now this is a 1 hour, 6 minutes episode,
It's a long
that
episode.
you're gonna do some bloody co-driving.
Yeah. Next step in 2 weeks or next week.
What on earth is that about? Why are you not driving?
Katie has, found a drive in the Baja of Portugal, and we've been working together to see how to get into the Dakar and the off-road scene. So she will go drive there now, and we just decided that I will be co-driver. I don't think we're expecting to win with me as a co-driver, but
Oh,
we're gonna film everything. Everything's gonna come out as a video, and it's gonna go terribly bad because I
Christ.
know nothing about
Have
co-driving.
you taken a rally red education or anything on co-driving?
No.
Christ, you have no idea how difficult those notes are.
No, that's why this is gonna be quite fun for people watching, because it's gonna be super hard. But also, we are very competitive. Maybe towards the end of the week, maybe we can have good result or something. Maybe a good section in the stage, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what I've gotten myself into.
Is it T3 or T4?
T3.
How'd you find that drive then?
I don't know.
Know some
How do you
people.
find a drive? I don't know. You call someone.
Yeah. To be fair, that's what I'm doing.
That's how it goes. So
That's exciting. Well, it's a shame
that
you're
is
not
very
driving,
exciting.
but I guess that's another piece to the conspiracy of Timmy's retirement.
No, I'm not retiring. But
He's retiring from driving.
I like motorsport, and I want to be part of it, even
Yes.
driving or not. But I want to be driving more, and I'm
You
still
would be
driving.
so scared if comes a triple caution and she goes and breaks late for it, and you would be like, "That's a triple caution!"
Triple caution.
Okay, well,
Okay.
good luck.
Well, it sounds like it's the end of the episode because we're
Well, is
losing
that-
our minds a bit over an
Yeah,
hour.
is that next week? So it will be
Next week.
next week's, and then you go to E1 anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, we're still busy for a while longer, so there will be more content. Everything for the podcast. We try to deliver all the content we can get.
Yeah.
I don't
Thanks
have
for
energy
everyone.
to ask what's next for you, Kevin. I'm so sorry, but my throat is
Perfect.
sore.
Throat is sore, classic.
Yeah. So let's just wrap it up now. That's enough for today's episode. No more space for anything else, not even KFC and chicken and rice. Thank you for listening. It was a fun one.
Bye bye.